zone. They rush 4. Plenty of time for John. Now squeezes, steps up in the pocket. LA can run. Inside the 10. Head first. He flies off the 5-yard line.
Manning out of the gun. Manning lets it fly. It's caught by Thomas. There's the record for Peyton Manning.
Rushing 4, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground and still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
And here we go. First snap of the overtime. The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stiff arm got him 3 to the 30. To the 20. Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on the New England. They win it on the first one.
Nothing wrong with Orange and Blue Podcast.
What is up, NRW crew? How you doing, MHRT fam? Good to see you, Broncos country, and welcome to another episode of the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Baki, and unfortunately tonight, my partner, my co-host, Isaiah, had a last-minute emergency, so tonight, for the time being, I am flying solo, which, you know what? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. You know, we haven't had a whole lot of Broncos news this week, but there's definitely some stuff to talk about. So let's just get down to it, okay? Real quick, I just want to point out to everybody that I'm wearing my 911 dispatcher hat. By trade, for those that don't know, I am a 911 dispatcher, and this week is National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week, where fire departments and EMS and police stations and the police services, they recognize their dispatchers. You know, it's kind of hard, as always, being behind the scenes, sitting behind the phone, being the person that takes the phone call, but not the face that everyone sees, just the voice that sometimes they hear. So it's very appreciated from those in my profession for this week. So I want to give a huge shout out and a huge thank you to all those who wear the headset, who sit behind the phone, and who do what we do day in, day out, trying to serve the people of our community. Now, moving on, welcome once again to the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. We are a fan-led, Broncos-based podcast that goes live every Thursday at 7654 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And we are on the MHRT Network. Please, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it out there. Come on, guys. Help us build that family. Ring that notification bell so you know the moment we go live and you do not miss out on any of our awesome content. We have several other shows on the Mile High Roundtable that you do not want to miss. The 5280 podcast is live, 7654, every Tuesday on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Our new AFC West Roundtable show, Wild Wild West, featuring representation from all 4 divisional teams, and has been very fun so far, by the way, goes live every Wednesday at 7:30, 6:30, 5:30, 4:30 at the same locations. And last but certainly not least, Broncos Breakdown drops every Friday night, 7654, same streaming locations. Also, do not forget that you can catch every one of our podcasts in audio form everywhere where you find your favorite podcasts, be it Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you find your podcasts, you can find us there. I just want to point out that we now have a merch store. I do not currently have it pulled up. I was kind of in a rush with figuring out things by being by myself. But you can see in the link below, there is the merch store. We have some good stuff. I'm going to get it up before the end of the show so you can see it. But we have, for every one of our shows, all 4 shows that we currently run on MHRT Network, there is t-shirts, there is water bottles, there is all this cool stuff. So guys, get in on that merch. Enjoy it. It's high quality stuff. Mine has not yet come in the mail. That's why I would be wearing it tonight if it had. But I am going to say some of the other guys in MHRT have gotten their merch, and they're all saying highest quality, really soft, really comfortable t-shirts. I don't know if anybody's bought the water bottle yet. I know I will be as soon as I can. So guys, just hit up that merch store. If you're looking for a way to support us, as of right now, that is the best way to do it. Now, let's jump in the comment stream real quick. As always, we have Avatar as our first commenter in the stream. He is nothing if not faithful. He says, "What's up, Broncos country? Let's ride." I just love poor Garrett Bowles' slip when he said Broncos Nation, but then quickly corrected himself to Broncos country. Yes, Avatar, I completely agree. I cringed at the at one of my favorite players and someone that I know personally saying Broncos Nation. Oh, it nearly destroyed me. But hey, he did correct himself, so kudos on that. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the introductory presser for Coach Hackett when he said Han Solo instead of Han Solo. And I was like, no, you claim to be a Star Wars fan. And then he was like, I mean Han. I meant Han. So same kind of thing. So it's good to see you, Avatar. Ronald Samples, my Bronco gang brother. It is good to see you. He says, Broncos country, Denver Broncos for life. Let's ride. It's good to see you there, Ron and EJ. What's up, Broncos country? Shout out to all the 911 dispatchers. Thank you for all you do. We appreciate that. Shout out, EJ. We really do. And our buddy Dave Glassman, he says it's the Johnny Baki show. Hey, tonight it is. I've never done this. I've never gone solo without Isaiah. Still waiting to see if somebody else from MHRT might be able to jump in tonight and join me. But hey, if not, I'm riding solo, and that's okay. You know what? Flying by the seat of the pants, you do with what you can, right? So we're going to have some fun with it. Shadow Jacker, another one of our, awesome super fans, mile high anticipation for this season. And I could not agree more, Shadow. It is the anticipation and I wouldn't even go as far as to say just the anticipation. The expectation for this season is just insane. Mile high. You said it. Mile high. I mean, we just cannot, I can't get enough of right now. I'm struggling without a whole lot of Broncos news. I'm just like, come on, give me something. Give me a nugget. Give me a crumb, something. Because, right now, like just the anticipation of what's up and coming, what's going to be here and what we expect. It's just so high. So I agree with you. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. It's going to be good, great, grand, wonderful. I am really pumped about all the additions made and the additions yet to be made. And, we got the draft coming up in 3 weeks, guys, or 2 weeks, 2 weeks now, 2 weeks. We have the draft coming up. And I mean, how exciting, how absolutely exciting is this? Me personally, I definitely have my favorites at 64, and I can't wait to see what it's going to look like once we add our draft picks. EJ in the comments says, "Never back down, Baki" is the name of the solo show. Hey, I could dig it. That's right. You know what? I'm never going to back down, man. This podcast is, outside of spending time with my kids, it's my favorite moment of the week. My kids and my wife, spending that time with them is my favorite, but I look forward to spending every Thursday night with each and every one of you. It is, I'm very thankful for all of you and getting to do this. Ronald Samples jumping back in says, "We riding with you, Johnny." Appreciate it, Ron. I really, really do. So, hey, let's talk some Broncos news. In the comment stream, hey, guys, help me out. Since I am riding solo tonight, the more you comment, the more we have to talk about. Questions, ideas, thoughts, whatever. Throw it in the comments. Help me drive the show along because, hey, me by myself, I might not have thought of things that you guys have thought of, right? So, hey, do that for me. Be in the comment stream as much as possible tonight. Help me out. We'll have some good conversations. We'll have some good points. Now on to some Broncos news. So, couple of things. First and foremost, an announcement came out today that the Kaiser family and the Bolin Trust have finally settled. It's been settled. The right of first refusal. I don't know how many of you all remember, but there has been a lot of issue with the sale of the team up and coming because the Kaiser family, who back in 1984 sold the Broncos to Pat Bolin, they had a right of first, the original owner had a right of first refusal agreement with Pat Bowlen. Now, both since have died, have passed away, and now with the sale up and coming, the Kaiser family was trying to claim that they retained the right of first refusal when it came to any kind of sales within the organization. And they've done this. It's happened several times over the years. It happened in 1999 when Pat Bowlen tried to sell a 10% share to John Elway, and they were against it. But back then, the original owner, I can't remember his first name, Mr. Kaiser, I'll just call him Mr. K, was still alive. And so it held through. But now he's passed away. Pat Bowlen's passed away. On January 11th, my birthday of this year, they went to court over this thing. And the judge ruled that they had no case. The judge ruled that due to the fact that Mr. B and Mr. K were both dead, that the Kaiser family had no right of first refusal anymore. It was null and void. They then went 3 weeks later and filed an appeal. And that was up and coming. However, it looks like the trust and the Kaiser family have settled. And so now it's a non-issue. And so the last true hiccup that was in the way of the Broncos getting sold is now over. It's gone. It's done with. And that's exciting for me. I know that there's a whole lot of speculation on who the new owner is going to be, when it comes to the bids that are supposed to be made and all that. But hey, it is what it is. I personally like some of the names. Some of the ones I don't. Shadow in the comments asks if it will come up. There we go. Baki, you think the new owner or owners are going to update the unis? Well, honestly, I think they might. Shadow, I really do. I think they might. And the reason for that is that when you get a new owner, when you get a new owner, they want to put a stamp. They kind of want to show, I'm here. I am here. This is my team. This is my thing. And so they make a move. They make some kind of move to solidify that this is now theirs. It belongs to them now, and it's their stamp, right? And one of the first probable ones would be a uniform change, maybe a logo change. I don't know. I mean, me personally, I love the throwback. I love the good old Denver D with the horse, with the stallion in the middle. I love that. I personally don't hate the current logo. But there's a chance that the logo may change. And oh my goodness, I'm getting excited. It looks like my partner has made it. Thank you. Hey, everybody. Isaiah's here. Isaiah's in the house.
Crisis averted. What's up?
No, man, you scared me. I'm sitting here flying solo. I mean, I did my best. I know that not everybody stuck around, and that's okay. But hey, I'm glad you're here.
Well, I couldn't. If I can, I'll make it. I'm not gonna leave you hanging.
Well, I know.
What's up, NRW crew? What's up, MHRT fam? Dave says it's the John Bakke show. Well, no longer because
no. You know what? It's still the John Bakke show. That's what it is.
Actually, we should come up with a name of a show specifically for you. The John Bakke show. That's too. We better come up with
No, we can come up with something though. But hey,
yeah.
So anyway, I was currently discussing. I just finished discussing that the ownership of the team is a little bit more free and clear now that the appeal that the Kaiser family filed on the judge's ruling about right of first refusal was dismissed today.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's done. They
I saw that.
So now the only thing in the way of the new ownership is the auction. And then, of course, the NFL owner's approval of the highest bidder.
Well, I'm pretty sure, with that being said, I'm pretty sure the Walton family is going to own the Broncos.
Yeah,
they've got the most money.
There.
Rob Walton can bid way over what he wants. The Waltons are well known, especially in the elite billionaire community, which he is. Walmart.
I think he's like the 19th richest man on earth, something like that.
He's up there. So, Dave Full-Glassman says, the Johnny Bakke show with the occasional guest, Isaiah Henderson. That's what it is. EJ comes up with the name. He says, Broncos with Bakke.
That's right. That's right. All right. So, hey, I was actually currently discussing Shadow's comment where he asked, if we thought that the new owner might change the uniforms, and I was saying I think there's a very good chance of it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. He's definitely going to go with his PR team.
It's one of those. It's one of those things. It's that first stamp that he puts on the organization, saying, "This is mine now." So again, Shadow, I think it's a very good chance. And then Shadow comes in and he jokes the Denver rollbacks.
Well, do you think that he'd be able to get it done before the season starts, or do you think that's something that will, they'd have to wait? When you go into a $1 billion organization, you can definitely go in there and say, "Hey, I want some," or they pitch you to them like, "Hey, let me see your designs for new uniforms." You can send them out and get it done. You can definitely get it done. It also depends on when he comes in. I'm thinking summer. June. I'm thinking they'll definitely have a new owner by then.
Maybe
definitely.
We'll see. There's a chance that they'd hold off on that change until next year, just because. You got to think, man, how much merchandise is currently out there with the current logo and all that. You got the PR rollout, you got the design, you got the approval, and then you got to start manufacturing. You even have to change the look in the stadium. For crying out loud, the 300 or the 400 level up at the top on the north side of the stadium, the seats literally are colored to form the current logo.
Well, I don't think you change the uniforms permanently. I think you might add an extra design for a different type of uniform.
Maybe.
We'll see. But with manufacturing and the design, when you're a $1 billion organization and you're worth that much, you can definitely hop in there. You're at the front of the line for everything.
Right. For those, I forgot to mention this. For those that are watching on Twitter, for whatever reason, we cannot. If you decide you want to comment, we cannot see the comments here on StreamYard, what we use to stream. So if you have a comment on Twitter, drop it in the drop it on Twitter. I won't be able to bring it up on the screen, but I will be able to read it right from here, something like that. Okay.
Yes. DM us for some reason, Johnny, our names aren't popping up, which is fine.
Oh, that's just because this is still up. There we go.
Yeah. So DM either Johnny or myself. And then that way we can bring up your question.
Yep.
There may be some new ownership at Twitter, so we may be getting Periscope back, where we'll be able to see the comments of those who are watching on Twitter.
That'd be wonderful. Yeah, but anyway, moving on. So like I said, the biggest news of the day was definitely that the ownership situation is the last true roadblock in the way of that happening is out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so now all we have left is the auction, and then the NFL Owners Committee approving the highest bidder to be the owner.
Well, another big news, in addition to what you said, is we officially have 9 draft picks.
That was my next thing.
Yeah, it was currently sitting at 8, but the Trinity Benson trade, which turns out to be a fantastic trade.
With Detroit
we now
last
have
year.
9. Yes, we now have 9. Last year we had 10. This year we acquired Russell Wilson and still have 1 less. So that's fantastic on George Payton's part, King George.
King George, man, I love him.
So that's fantastic, and I'm definitely thinking there's a possibility we could trade up and move up and earlier in the second, to go after a Trey McBride or David Njoku.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think he likes.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think George Payton moves back a couple times throughout the draft to get more dart throws, but I don't think. And I have people that disagree with me. Mundungus disagrees with me on this. I do not think George Payton is going to spend what capital he has to move up.
No, I don't. I think he likes to. It's a possibility.
I think he'll sit right where he is.
He mentioned it, but I also think that I think when he mentioned that, he just wanted to see. He wanted to get some calls, see what he heard, see what's out there.
Yeah,
I think he likes the depth in this draft.
And that's the fact. Is that even sitting at 64, there's going to be guys at the positions that you need that are going to be high quality players that are going to be available there. So you can, unless it's just someone that you feel is like they're sitting there at a pick that you feel like you could make a trade for with whoever's sitting there at that pick, and the guy that you would absolutely sell your soul for is sitting there, he's going to stay put at 64. I don't think he trades back at 64 either. I think he stays there, gets his one, probably one, maybe of maybe 2 or 3 impact players right there, and then moves on. And then
Kevin Dandino
yes,
looks like a new name.
It is a new name. So here's to you, Kevin.
Cheers,
Welcome
Kevin.
to the NRW crew. Welcome to the MHRT fam. It's good to see you.
And he comes in, he says, let's face it, Peyton clearly doesn't let anything leak, so we don't have any idea what he's doing.
Never does. The guy
100%.
is as a master chess player, I guarantee it, and definitely a master poker player. Dave Glassman also coming in saying next year is the draft pick shortage. Need to acquire capital for 2023. And I couldn't agree more.
Yes, because we also have we gave up our first and I think our second for next year as well.
Oh, that's right. I knew Kevin's name. Kevin says, "What's up from the Orange Weekly team?" Kevin's part of Orange Weekly. I knew I recognized your name, but I could not remember from where. So, Kevin, it's good to see you. And hey, now that you're in the comments, you are officially a member of the NRW crew. It's good to see you, buddy. So, Ronald Sample's also saying that was the Trinity Benson trade. Do your research. That's what he said, Ron.
Yeah, that's what we said.
But no, it's okay. It's okay. You know what? No, it was a great trade. It was a great trade. It got us future capital, and we're going to use that future capital now. So, hey, now I want to talk. The title of tonight's show is PFF gives the Broncos some respect.
All right, let's talk about it.
You know what? Like I've always been very open about how PFF is not the be all end all for me. I like PFF for certain things. When it comes to Pro Football Focus, there are things that get missed, especially when it comes to objectivity and stats. But they do a good job in a lot of things.
Yes, and PFF is even though as fans we may not lean toward them, but I was actually thinking about this the other day. That's actually what the major NFL broadcasters use. When you see a Monday night, Sunday night game, they'll put at the bottom of the screen the player, their position. They'll put their PFF rank. So even though we feel like we get screwed sometimes.
Yep, well, we do.
That is what the NFL
Broncos
uses.
fan will tell you we get disrespected. Any Broncos fan tells you that the Broncos struggle getting respect from the league, from the national media, whatever, right? Excuse me. Now, what I'm excited about is yesterday, Nathan Janke of PFF released 2 lists, top 10 lists of predictions for this season for dynasty players in fantasy football.
I saw that.
Now, to those that don't know, when you play fantasy football, most people play just it's a once a year deal, and every year you draft new players, right? Dynasty fantasy football is where as long as a player is still playing, when you've drafted a player to your dynasty team, he's on it forever, unless you make a trade, obviously. It rolls over year after year. So dynasty is guys that if you're playing that kind of fantasy football, these are the guys you would want, right? But basically it's a list of who he predicts are going to be the top 10 at their position next, this coming season. Now he released 2 lists that contain Broncos players, one of which was absolutely surprising to me.
Yes, it was.
Wonderfully, excitingly surprising. The other one, not as surprising, but I didn't think that our guy would be as high as he was. So I'm going to start with that one just because it's the one that was a little less surprising. And that is for Dynasty, for the top 10 predicted running backs on his list. He put Javonte Williams, number 33, Pookie, love him. He put Javonte Williams at 3, number 3, top 3 running back in the league. Now, I'm so excited about that because I really do believe that Javonte is going to have a truly breakout year as the RB1. And I think he's going to blow away this league. Now, he put him number 3 behind only Jonathan Taylor and Najee Harris.
Najee Harris is debatable.
Yeah, they came out in the same draft, and who knows? We'll see.
I think, in my opinion, I think Najee Harris was running back 1 for the Steelers. But I think Javonte Williams not having, being running back 1, still maybe splitting carries, but being running back 1 is definitely going to be more.
Well, I think they're still going to let him. I still think they're going to rotate. Obviously, just to keep him safe, keep him healthy, keep him fresh. But at the same time, he's going to get the bulk. He's going to get the bulk.
Agreed.
He's going to be the man. Okay. Now, behind him was Christian McCaffrey. of the Carolina Panthers. Austin Eckler was at number 5 for the Chargers. Alvin Kamara, who was my RB1 on my fantasy team this last year, got me a lot of points. I'm telling you right now, Alvin Kamara of the Saints. Then Derrick Henry of the Titans.
That's
sitting
interesting.
Number 7. Dalvin Cook of the Vikings at 8. Cam Akers of the Rams at 9, and Elijah Mitchell of the San Francisco 49ers at 10. But the point I'm going over right now, dude, that is so freaking exciting. The Javonte is predicted by, someone at PFF. I don't know a whole lot about Nathan Janke. I don't know who he is exactly. But he at least has that job. So I'm going to go ahead and say that, he at least has some clout, some respect up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
He I believe he's the PFF fantasy football guy. I really believe that's what, that's at least one of the things he does there. So the fact is, he put Javonte Williams in the top 3 for running backs in the league. I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait to see it. Now, for the list that surprised me a little bit. Now, not to say I do not think that this player is not an incredible player, and not one that another one that I truly thought is going to have a breakout season, especially now with Russell Wilson. Hey, by the way, I forgot to remind everybody, Broncos have Russell Wilson. You're welcome. Yep. All right. So in this list, he listed his top 10 dynasty tight ends prediction for the season. Now, Isaiah, I don't remember if you said you saw this or not.
I saw it.
Where do you think our tight end one, Big Albert O, my boy from Mizzou, Mizzou, baby? Where do you think he fell on that list?
I saw it, so that's not fair. He was
where did he fall on that list? You tell me.
He was number 5. He was above Darren Waller.
He was above Darren Waller.
Yeah, and that was interesting. I mean,
yes.
When I saw that one, Javonte Williams, I was like, yeah, he's an exciting, dynamic running back. He almost had almost 1,000-yard rushing and 7 touchdowns, sharing carries with Melvin Gordon, splitting carries with Melvin Gordon. But to have Albert O up there, and I think with Nathaniel Hackett coming out and saying, hey, we're going to use him as a tight end, we're also going to use him as a receiver. That puts him in the Kyle Pitts, Darren Waller, Travis Kelce position, where you use him not just on the line, but you use him everywhere.
Let me go through this list real quick, and then we'll discuss it a little bit more. You mentioned Kyle Pitts. Let's read that real quick. Kevin Dandino says Pookie is going to be a beast for his career. Just need to find a good backup for him to keep him healthy. Absolutely.
Yeah, Mike Boone is definitely a very credible and very
Mike Boone's intriguing.
He's a very formidable choice.
We haven't seen him. We haven't seen enough of him yet, but he is intriguing.
I'm going to give him a chance.
I am too. So back to the tight ends list. You mentioned Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts came in at number 1. Falcons tight end. George Kittle. Everybody knows George Kittle. Tight end 2. Which, if you remember, I'd totally forgotten this. And you and I were at that draft in Nashville. I forgot that George Kittle was still on the board when the Broncos picked Noah Fant.
Interesting.
He was. The Broncos missed out on George Kittle. The Broncos missed out on George Kittle to go for Noah Fant. Now that I'm saying Noah Fant was not a great tight end, but George Kittle's definitely had his name higher on the list for a long time. So, number 3 was Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mark Andrews, number 4 of the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Albert O, Mizzou, baby. I'm going to keep saying it because I love my Mizzou Tigers. He came in at number 5, which was the exciting thing. Darren Waller, which was the surprising one, was placed at number 6. Dallas Goedert, who's doing pretty well at tight end in Philadelphia, came in at number 7. The rookie sensation tight end, Pat Freiermuth, he was a rookie sensation this last year for the Steelers. He came in at number 8. Dalton Schultz of the Cowboys at 9, and Irv Smith Jr. for the Vikings at 10. So
I'd love to know his mentality and his thought process of why he put Albert O in front of Darren Waller. I'm not gonna argue or debate about it or take it away. I'll say, hey, yeah, I'll take Albert over Darren Waller, but I want to know why he did that.
Okay, real quick, I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to pull this up because EJ just corrected me, and that's what I meant, and I just spaced on it. Sorry, it was George Kittle was still on the board when the Broncos drafted Jake Butt, who, as any true Broncos fan recalls, is probably one of the biggest draft busts in the history of the organization. We drafted him when he was injured, and he was never healthy.
Yeah.
Never. So that's what it was. It was Jake Butt. I'm sorry. I said Noah Fant. I was wrong. I meant Jake Butt. It was, anyway, moving on. So anyway, the Broncos, we are, as Broncos fans, I feel like we're often disrespected, right? I know you feel it. I know I do.
Mm-hmm.
We're forgotten about in the national media or whatever, right? However, I feel like with these lists, the Broncos got a little bit of respect right now. Mm-hmm. They're fine, like, and of course, I'm gonna go ahead straightforward and say that Russell Wilson is the reason, at least for Albert O.
I can agree with that.
Let's be honest. I mean, he is the tide. We hear it all over the place. The tide that raises all ships. He's going to come in and he's going to be Russell Wilson. I don't care what anybody says. He is not washed up and he is ready to freaking go. He's going to come in here and and Albert O is going to get chances like no tight end has had on the Broncos in half a decade.
Well, he's going to line up out, like with Darren Waller and Kyle Pitts.
Yep.
He's definitely going to line up outside the numbers. And one thing he said today in his interview, he said, definitely they're going to use me and take advantage of the mismatches. I mean, he's 6'5", he runs a 4.5 40. So they definitely want to use him to take advantage of those mismatches. You put him in the red zone outside the numbers, and you throw him the ball and say, "Go get it."
Yes, and that's what he does. Remembering back to the Drew Lock and Albert O days at Mizzou, my alma mater. There was that's what he did. He was the jump ball guy. He got those 50-50 passes as a tight end. He was phenomenal. I was so excited when we drafted him in 2020 because of that.
People forget. I think it was, guys, correct me, was it Albert or Noah Fant? They got that pass interference call on them. It might have been when Drew Lock had that comeback against the Chargers and we had that 2-point conversion. When we threw the ball in the end zone, was that Albert?
It was. I believe it was Noah Fant. Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I was thinking Albert O. But plays like that, where you throw it up to your guy and you get a pass interference call because it's a huge mismatch. That's definitely a big deal to use, a big guy to use. Especially, like I said, you have to worry about Jerry Jeudy in the slot. Do you want to put your nickel back on him, or you also have Albert O?
Nobody wants to put nickel back on.
I'm saying as a defensive scheme, who do you guard? You have Albert O.
That flew right over your head. That completely
flew
over
exactly
your head.
what you said. Nobody wants to guard Jerry Jeudy. But when you're a defensive coordinator,
Kevin brings up an excellent point here, and we're really appreciating our buddy over at Orange Weekly being so involved in the chat tonight. He says, doesn't matter if we got Kittle or Fant. Fangio would have misused either one of them. And that's accurate. That's accurate.
That's a fair point.
I like Ronald Samples here. Hashtag, he says, Broncos country, hashtag win the West. Let's ride. I don't know if you saw that hype video from day one, but there was a shot of Bradley Chubb's back. And the boys are rocking t-shirts that say win the West.
He said he thinks, Nathaniel Hackett came up with that slogan.
I'm sure he did. I mean, every coach has had their little moniker at the beginning there.
What was Fangio's moniker?
Vic Fangio was Vic Fangio. I don't think he even cared. No, it was death by inches. That was his. Was death by inches.
That's actually pretty good.
But yeah, except that I look at it as negative. You know what I mean? It's such a negative thing to look at. I'll answer that question real quick, Kevin. That motto of death by inches, while true and important, to me, it's not inspiring. You know what I mean?
You're right.
I don't find that inspiring. I find that so negative. But and Vance Joseph before him, massive disappointment. But his motto was probably still my favorite, and I still use it to this day when I'm talking about like practice and all that. Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And, I like that. But I love this win the West because, hey, the AFC West is stacked, son.
Yeah. And
absolutely
if
insane.
If your goal and your mission is to win the West, that automatically puts you in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That mentality of winning the West, you're already in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
And then you just go to the next step. So if you maintain that mentality, that thought process, that goal, that mission, you're saying we're in the playoffs. Winning the West automatically puts it. Don't think about let's get to the playoffs. Let's think about winning the West. That could potentially be a first round bye. Kevin says, Johnny, did you go to Mizzou?
Yes, I did. I did not finish. I'll be honest. I turned out to be one of those people where college was not for me. I never finished college, and that's okay. I work in a great career field that I love. I do not have a degree, but I did go to Mizzou for a time. My wife and I, we were actually the sports park supervisors for our time there. We had our office in the basketball arena there, Mizzou Arena, and I had keys to the Faroe Field, the football field, and the baseball stadium, and I was basically the sports park supervisor / security. So I got to meet all, get to know all the Mizzou players. This was way back when, though, way before like Drew Lock and Alberto. This was back during
World War II.
World War II. Shut up. I'm not that much older than you. You shut up. No. I believe the last real big name that I knew at Mizzou was Michael Sam, which, if you remember him, first openly gay player who kind of got steamrolled out of the NFL before his career even got off. Who was probably one of the best defensive players I've ever seen. He was probably one of the last ones that my wife and I, we knew Chase Daniel and a few others while we were there too. But anyway, moving on. Yes, I did go to Mizzou, Mizzou, baby. So Avatar, Kubiak was awesome. And that I couldn't remember if it was Vance Joseph or Kubiak. I took a shot with saying it was Vance Joseph. Iron sharpens iron. Iron was Gary Kubiak. Shadow says a lot of people were saying, including me, we were a QB away, but we were a QB and head coach away from dynasty. Wow.
Yes, EJ, Johnny was around during World War II.
I had to stomp you. I'm going to stomp you.
He doesn't age.
I'm going to grind you under the heel of my boot. If I were
Is that
wearing
what you
boots
did to
right
the
now.
Germans?
Ooh, buddy. It's what I did to the Taliban, okay? Anyway.
Johnny's been in every war since America was founded.
No, you're getting this wrong. A member of my family has been in every war since the founding of the United States.
That's his excuse to really mean himself. He's like Wolverine.
To really mean me.
That's just his excuse. Wolverine and his brother were in every war.
I was on full-on Wolverine fighting in every American war since the inception of the country.
Shadow, you're in trouble.
Oh, no, he's not. Because Shadow's the host of MHRT After Dark.
He says, are you cheating on an Orange Weekly with MHRT? Wow, Shadow.
Shadow has been
unloyal, adulterous,
years, Kevin.
Beautiful fan, and we love you.
No, Shadow's been one of our people for years, Kevin.
Hey, just got to run, but keep it going. Hey, Kevin, always appreciate you. Cheers to you. Come back awesome. Anytime.
Cheers to you. We can't wait to see you back.
Come back anytime. Let us know if you want to be on the show. Just hit us up in my or Johnny's DMs at Nothing Rhymes or Broncos Viking.
I love Orange Weekly. It'd be great to have you on one time, Kevin. So, hey, let's do it. So, AJ says that's one demerit, Isaiah. And Kevin finishes off with, let's ride.
Let's ride.
Yes. God, I love that. You know what? I kind of hope that they keep the Win the West moniker, for Coach Hackett, but I kind of hope that they start hanging up banners that say "Let's Ride" since Russ came up with that.
I think they will. I definitely think they will.
I mean, it's beautiful, man, and I don't care how long Russ is here. I think it's something we'll use for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, well, by the time Russ is retired,
we haven't before.
By the time Russ retires and takes off, Johnny, you'll probably be dressing up in uniform for the next war.
Yeah,
but I saw Garrett Bowles' uniform, and he said, not uniform. See now,
press conference.
Press conference. What am I talking about?
Good Lord,
and,
son.
He said Russell Wilson. They talked and they FaceTime, and he said the one line he said, I know you got hit in Seattle, but you're not going to get hit here. And I love that.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. That was fantastic. Like, you're not. I know you're used to getting hit, but you're not going to get hit here. Like, I mean, what a thing, man. Shadow Jacker responding again to Kevin saying, MHRT is his first.
But if we can keep a European open.
Yeah, okay. Isaiah, don't be taking any kind of advice there. All right. I don't think your wife will be into
because yours will be that much more accommodating.
No, not at all. I'm giving you the same advice I'm giving myself.
EJ says, who should we draft at 64? I am definitely on the train of, I'm under the assumption David Njoku and Trey McBride are not there at 64. I am all down.
It's a good assumption. It's a very good assumption.
Yeah, I'm all down for Abraham Lucas, and assuming George Payton doesn't trade up in the second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down for Abraham Lucas, the tackle from Washington State.
See, and this is where you and I agree and disagree at the same time.
We agree on the position, but disagree on the person.
We both agree on that the Broncos should go for their offensive tackle of the future at 64. You say Abraham Lucas. Mm-hmm. I say Bernard Raymond.
Now,
who, by the way, real quick, I just want to say real quick, I just want to bring this up. Yeah, Shadow says Muma, and I can see getting Muma, but I think Muma will be available. We pick again at 75, and I think Chad Muma will still be available back around 75. So it's a possibility you could get him then. But Bernard Raymond, real quick, I don't know if you caught it in the in Bull's press conference, but at the end there, he was talking about Bernard Raymond, who was, they asked him, I'm not sure who in the media asked the question, but Bernard Raymond had said at the scouting combine that he watches Garrett Bowles and models his play after Garrett Bowles.
Interesting.
And Garrett Bowles said, yeah, I've heard that quite a bit. And him and that Garrett and Bernard Raymond have the same agent. So he's talked to him several times.
Oh, Johnny, whatever. Abraham Lucas it is.
Dude, look, no. So I really look, could you imagine having a Garrett Bowles on the left and a Garrett Bowles on the right? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
EJ says Abraham Lucas would be amazing, or Troy Anderson.
I'm all on Troy Anderson as well.
Troy Anderson, I think he may drop some more in his draft capital because he has a shoulder injury. Ronald says, I doubt Peyton trades up.
I agree, Ronald. I agree.
It's a possibility, but I think there's so much depth in this draft where he's like, I'm okay where I'm at. Abraham Lucas will be fantastic. That's the reason why I chose.
I'm going to be honest with you. You get Abraham Lucas or you get Bernard Raymond. I'm not going to be upset about either one.
The reason Cameron Parker says he wants to go edge or defense, but the reason why I say tackles because Tom Compton, Calvin Anderson, and Billy Turner are all over 1-year contracts.
Absolutely.
I'm in the position of, hey, let's lock up our future tackle and stop the revolving door of tackles with this draft. So that way, when all those guys are out on their 1 year, you don't have to, let's say you don't re-sign any of them for future contracts, spend that extra money. You have your right tackle who's on his rookie deal. He took his first rookie year to learn the scheme, to sit behind the vets. And then the next second year, you can hand it over to him after he's improved, after he's had the offseason, after he's built camaraderie with the offense, with Quinn Miners at right guard, and Russell Wilson. He learns the way he calls plays and what he calls and how he adjusts the line. You give him that rookie year to learn, and then when those 1-year guys leave, you hand that over to Abraham Lucas or Raymond and say, hey, this is yours. And then you got your what do they call them now? Your bookend tackles. You got Garrett Bowles locked up for the future, and you got your guy in the rookie contract. And that way you solidify. That's why I'm in favor of right tackle at 64.
I agree.
Get that
I agree on that number. The other side of that, where I would say you could wait on edge, is that while both positions are just deep with depth in this draft, the tackle position and the edge, I personally, from what I've seen, think that the edge position is deeper in talent than the offensive tackle position.
I'd say
so. You can wait to 75, 96, or 115 to get someone like maybe not 115, but you can wait to 75 or even 96 to get someone like Nick Bonino.
I'd say be more specific, Johnny. It's deeper than right tackle.
Sure.
Specifically right tackle.
Once again, most of these tackles, like I said, remember I said it last week. If you're picking anybody picked outside the top 10 is not expected to necessarily come in and make an immediate splash. They're expected to be a developmental player. So a lot of these tackles, these guys that are left tackles coming out of college, a lot of them are still raw enough. I think you can work them into being a right tackle a lot easier than if they'd been in the NFL a while and try to switch.
I mean, yeah, you can like a swing tackle, but I definitely prefer. Personally,
I prefer someone who's already that. Yes.
Yes.
But the point, EJ, right there, I do not believe David Ojabo's there at 64.
I don't think so either. I think he, even though with his Achilles injury, if he's fallen that far in the draft, he's not a guy that you're looking to start his first year.
Not at all. He'll probably be out all year.
Yeah, he'll probably be out all year, or maybe come in later on in the year if his recovery works well. If he's there at 64, I have no problem taking him at 64. Because I think Abraham Lucas or Raymond will definitely be there at 75.
Absolutely.
And I think you get David Ojobo to learn the defense.
David Ojobo, I don't believe even though he is injured. I know he's injured and he's probably going to be out. I mean, honestly, it's an Achilles injury. He's probably going to be out all season. Let's just be honest. The Achilles injury usually, on average, except for like in the case of Adrian Peterson,
or Cam Akers from the Rams.
Or Cam Akers takes over a year to really rehab. That is a ridiculously serious injury.
And if I'm the GM or I'm the head coach and I got this rookie who's a top 10 pass rusher coming into the draft, I'm going to sit him. You recover, you learn the playbook, you watch some film, and then year 2, and David Ojobo, if he's there at 64, he's the guy I would definitely take.
Oh,
because let's say Bradley Chubb had his interview and he said his goal is to play 17 games. Let's say Bradley Chubb doesn't have.
We have yet to see that though.
I'm thinking Bradley Chubb has to have his rookie year numbers at 12 sacks or more in order to get that contract. And let's say George Payton says, "I'm going to move on from Bradley Chubb." Having David,
I don't think it's so much about sacks as it is quarterback pressures.
Well, the year he went to the Pro Bowl, I think he led the NFL in pressures, didn't he?
No, I know, but I'm talking about to get the contract from the Broncos. The more like the stat that they care about more. I don't care what anybody says. Sacks are pretty. Sacks are beautiful. That's a fun stat to look at. But when they look at a player who is truly disruptive, they're looking at quarterback pressures.
And that's what they're looking at with Randy Gregory as well.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, if you have Bradley Chubb, who a year when he went to he's a Pro Bowl edge rusher. Bradley Chubb is a Pro Bowl edge rusher. So when you get a Pro Bowl edge rusher who led the NFL in pressures, and then you got another guy who I think he was first in the NFL in pressures and turnovers off of pressures, you get two guys coming off the edge who are top in the league in pressures, the sacks are going to come.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. Ronald says Ojobo's hurt, so he's going to fall. The question is, does he fall to the last pick?
I don't think he does.
In the second round?
I honestly could not even see him falling out of the first round. He might make it to like the back end of the first round, but if anything, he goes in the early picks of the second round.
Shadow says Chubb most likely returning after this season. He needs money, and we need picks.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I hope for it.
Honestly, in my opinion, I think if Chubb does excellent, I definitely think you re-sign Chubb because that way you can lock your edge. Because I mean, we gave what was it? How many years did we give Gregory?
3.
No, I thought we gave more than 3.
Was it?
We gave.
Hang on,
Williams.
You keep talking. Keep talking. I'll pull up.
So if you have, so you automatically have, Gregory and Chubb. Side down, you got
5 year. My bad.
That's what I thought. I thought it was 5
Randy
years.
Gregory's a 5 year.
So I mean, you locked down Chubb for what? 4 years, 5 years. You've got your edge rushers, or 4. Yeah, you got your edge rushers locked down, ready to go, contracts, and then there's some argument about whether or not Baron Browning. I definitely think they're going to use Baron Browning, like Micah Parsons. But PFF also came out with another statistic and said that most snaps covered by a rookie and without giving up a touchdown
was Baron Browning.
And Baron Browning was leading every
ahead of Micah Parsons and someone else.
It wasn't close.
No, it wasn't close. It was separated by about 50.
Yeah,
amazing.
So I mean, you get our future is set with these young guys. EJ said Chubb needs to stay healthy and produce zero sacks. We're not getting him a second contract. Yes,
I'm not saying 0 sacks. I'm not saying 0 sacks at all. EJ, what I'm saying is, like, sack count is sexy. Sack count is sexy. That's the one that gets you on the highlight reels and that the national media talks about because it's sexy, right? I mean, Shadow Jacker can tell you something about sexy, the host of, MHRT After Dark. But I think when it comes to a team, especially this one with someone with George Payton as the GM, looking at impact players, guys that are impacting the game, he's going to care more about guys that put the pressure on the quarterback, or maybe even a balance, probably a good balance of sacks versus QB pressures. But I don't think that sacks is going to be the be-all, end-all in terms of his, him getting another contract.
It's not the be-all, end-all, but anything less than double-digit sacks, I don't think he's going to get a contract. And I think with Randy Gregory, who's a guy who, in my opinion,
this is a family show.
Was one of the best disruptive pass, was one of the most disruptive pass rushers in the NFL last year, only playing 12 games.
Yes. So
expectations are high.
A couple things I want to.
Especially being in the AFC West.
Yeah,
he's got to produce. It can't be like when Von Miller was here, or when he gets injured, or two, they're able to double team because they think they can handle one of the.
I mean, he did just have that shoulder surgery to clean up some injured tissue from a previous surgery.
He'll be fine.
Previous injury, but they're saying he should be back by the beginning of training camp, so that'll be good.
What is that, July?
Yeah, that time frame.
Yeah, so he'll be healthy. He'll be ready to go, ready to put on the pads, ready to hit. And
couple things I want to hit on before we get out of here. Well, really only one other thing, and then we can kind of let the why is Isaiah? Yeah, why didn't you zoom in more this time?
So number one, Johnny, thanks for calling me poor. My camera doesn't zoom in.
Oh, you are poor.
Number two,
so am I. I'm joking.
So KB82, you haven't been here. I think you haven't been here since I moved the camera. So my laptop and the camera is back, and I'm looking at the TV. So
it looks further back though this week than it did last week.
So. Well, I haven't been able to move it forward or close the laptop because remember I rushed it here.
Oh, that's true.
So I didn't really get to set it up. But this is the way it's looked before, and it's higher, it's not as low. So he says my camera's social distancing. Okay, I see 82nd Airborne got jokes today.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's okay because compared to the 101st 82nd Airborne is a joke.
Yeah, that's it. He's just mad he's not a chicken sandwich, baby.
Waboom!
He just want to be a chicken sandwich.
That's right. No, it's all in good fun, KB82. You know that. So I like this. I like this from Ronald Samples. Chubb plus Gregory equals dangerous.
Yes, I think to Ronald's point, and I think a lot of people are underestimating who the Broncos signed. And I think, honestly, Chubb and Gregory could be one of the best pass rushing duos in the NFL. Right now, I have to give it to Max Crosby and Chandler Jones because they're more proven and more consistent. Chandler Jones, but I think Chubb and Gregory can really come out and really just tear up that backfield.
I think they're gonna be the surprise duo.
That's what I mean, the surprise.
Because look at it. Like this is the last thing I'm gonna say about Chubb because we're gonna start to roll out of here in a minute, but. The last thing I'm going to really say about Chubb is that this is the first offseason he's had, full offseason he's had where he's completely healthy.
Yes, and he said that. And
he said that that's been insurmountable.
And when he was drafted,
his development.
When he came out of college fully healthy, he set the Broncos record for most sacks by a rookie when he was healthy.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you take that, you're like, okay, when this guy's healthy, this dude's setting records.
Yep.
He had more sacks than Von Miller that year.
Yep. So, I mean, it was great. So
I mean, you coming back with when he's fully healthy again, and then you put Randy Gregory, who's a disruptive. I'm so excited to see him play.
Oh,
disruptive pass rusher. This could be dangerous. KB82's not done yet. He said, I said, it looks like he's playing safety and the camera's playing quarterback. He's on fire today. He's on fire.
All right, KB2, we're going to have something for you next week. I promise you. But last thing I want to hit on. We've talked a lot about the edge rush. We talked a lot about the draft. We talked some about, the ownership situation. Last thing I really want to hit on, last real news of the week, is our girls on the sidelines. The Denver Broncos cheerleaders have announced their squad for the 2022 season. Now, They have not released an actual list online yet of the names of the ladies. I won't say girls, the ladies who will be standing on the sideline, pumping up the crowd at every home game this season. But Lord knows we love our cheerleaders, and they're all phenomenal. You look at each one of them whenever they do their bios throughout the season on social media and stuff. Each one of these ladies has pretty amazing bios, teachers, and what I know one's a really accomplished interior designer and other things. They do a lot of really, they've got their lives outside of the Broncos, but they do such an amazing job on the sidelines, rooting for our boys, getting our crowd pumped up. And so, congratulations to the ladies that made this year's 2022 Broncos cheerleader squad.
Yeah.
And we cannot wait to see all of you on the sidelines for the next year. Those returning and those that are just now making the squad. Well done. Congratulations. And we are excited. Now,
KB82 asked a question. This is the last question we're going to take, Johnny, before we
get
out. And then Ronald Samples asked, he said, how many sacks did Chubb and Gregory combine for? I say 18. I'm going to go higher than that.
I was going to go 20 to 22.
And then Ronald says 15 sacks a piece. And then KB82 says, no way they get 15. I'm going to go 12 apiece.
I was going to say I'd go 11.
24 to 25.
Maybe. You know what? Honestly, I love Bradley Chubb. I really, really love Bradley Chubb. And I know you're talking about Avatar. You're talking about Romy Bean. We love her. She was on she was on 5280 2 weeks ago. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful job. We love Romy Bean too. Now, we gotta roll this out. But I say 11 apiece. Or maybe I would honestly say Randy Gregory, I'd put higher. I'd put Randy Gregory getting maybe 11 to 12. Bradley Chubb getting 10. So I'd say 22.
I think if I had to go, I'd say Randy Gregory gets 15. Bradley Chubb gets 13.
I like it. Now, last thing. KB82 says, don't forget to hit the like button. If you have, hit it now. Right now. Go. Now, thank you all for joining us today on the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast on MHRT Network. It would not be what it is without all of you, and we are truly thankful for you all. Please remember to join us again every Thursday evening at 7654 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And don't miss our other shows. 5280 on Tuesday, 7654. Wild Wild West, 736, 35, 34, 30. And Broncos Breakdown at 7654 on Fridays on Facebook. All of them on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Also, do not forget that if you prefer listening to audio podcasts during your commute or while around the house, you can find all of the audio versions of each podcast everywhere where you find your favorite podcast. We will be back with you next Thursday for even more fun Broncos talk and even more hysterical banter. Isaiah, really quickly go through the merch store for me.
Guys,
by the way, this is
this video, subscribe to this channel, share this video with your friends so we can spread Broncos cheer to everyone across the world.
Like wildfire.
Go to the MHRT merch store if you haven't. You can get
link in the bio below. Link in the bio below.
Link is in the bio of Nothing Rhymes. You can get 5280, Broncos Breakdown with Bronco Bill, Wild Wild West. And if you click on Discover Designs, you will find out that there is NRWOB, which is new as well.
Right there.
We're always adding, always bringing in more things. We're also taking suggestions, improvements, sustainment. So, guys, don't forget to go to the merch store, share this video, like it, and subscribe to this channel.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to do one big end of the show, mile high five. So, get NRW crew, get your arms out with me, please. And here we go. Mile high five. Woo! Thank you, NRW crew. Thank you, MHRT fam. And thank you, Broncos country. Let's ride!